potentially more roadblocks for the Activision Blizzard deal. The trend of NFTs and play to earn in crypto seem to be continuing in the gaming industry, and Xbox is giving away free Game Pass months for PC Game Pass. So back at the beginning of March, there was a report that the Activision Blizzard deal was being investigated for potential insider trading. And this had to do with a Wall Street Journal report that Barry Diller, Alexander von Furstenberg, and David Geffen invested around $108 million into Activision Blizzard just days before Microsoft had acquired the company, knowing that those shares would go up in value. Now with Activision Blizzard, we know the story. We know all of the issues that were going around with that company, with the internal workplace environment, the lawsuits, and just the name of Activision Blizzard. The stock itself was falling. I mean, you take a quick look here. Microsoft had announced that they were acquiring Activision Blizzard on January 18th. And you see here, as soon as they make that announcement, the stock shoots up from $65 to $82. This begs you to ask the question, did Bobby Kotick talk to these guys, let them know that this was going on, information that was not public yet? Did they take this information and go and load up on stocks? Their investment has climbed to $168 million and could be worth up to $200 million if they keep their shares until Microsoft deal closes. So there has been an investigation that is being filed by the US Justice Department and the Securities and Exchange Commission to look into this to see if there were any insider trading going on with this. Diller himself has described himself as a long-term friend of Bobby Kotick, and he's also served on Coca-Cola's board of directors. Von Furstenberg is the stepson of Diller, and Geffen is another long-time friend. So they all have a connection to Bobby Kotick, who obviously knows about the deals and everything that's going on before that information becomes public. Now, when this first came out, I made a video talking about it. I don't think this has any effect on the actual deal itself, and I think it's almost going to be impossible for them to be able to find out if there was some sort of insider trading, unless they literally were sending emails or their phone calls are recorded or any of that type of stuff. I think it's going to be pretty difficult for it to be found out. And with that being said, Activision has told regulators that it will cooperate with the insider trading investigation. And this is because Activision has received a request for information from the SEC, which enforces security rules, and a grand jury subpoena from the Justice Department. And the request appears to be in relation to the investigations into whether the investors who knew Bobby Kotick, which is Activision's chief executive, engaged in the insider trading of Activision stock before the Microsoft deal was made public. Activision says here, Activision Blizzard has informed these authorities that it intends to be fully cooperative with these investigations. So we will see what happens, what comes out of this. I still don't think that anything will really come out of this. One of the big things people are trying to push forward with this deal and why they don't want it to go through is because Bobby Kotick and the people behind the terrible workplace culture and the bad things that went on at Activision are going to get away with a golden parachute. And I don't know how any of that is not going to happen. It's a sad reality of the way it is, of the way things are. But at the end of this day, this deal going through is definitely better for the employees there and for Activision Blizzard. And this isn't the only thing in terms of information that we've gotten more of about this deal. We know that the shareholders are voting on whether this deal is going to be going through on April 28th. And there are different groups of shareholders that are a part of investment groups that own shares of Activision Blizzard. One of them is this group here called the SOC Investment Group. And the SOC Investment Group, formerly known as the CTW Investment Group, holds corporations and their leadership accountable for irresponsible and unethical corporate behavior and excessive executive pay, reflecting the long-term interests of workers and their families invested in union pension funds. So you could say, obviously, for them, they're looking at what Bobby Kotick and what Activision Blizzard's workplace toxic culture was, and they are trying to look out for the best interest of the shareholders of Activision because of that. And they want to make sure that the people working there are not going to be affected in the long run if this deal goes through. And they are advising their shareholders who are part of this investment group, who hold shares of Activision Blizzard to vote against this deal going through on April 28th. And they say this transaction fails to properly value Activision and its future earnings potential, in significant part because it ignores the role that the sexual harassment crisis and the Activision board's incompetent handling of it has played in delaying product releases and depressing the share price. And secondly, we are skeptical that any transaction with Microsoft or a similar acquirer would be viable, given the shift in the climate of antitrust enforcement, as well as evident sources of potential harms to competition stemming from the merger. So that's interesting. The main thing here that they are looking at is the fact that Xbox, Microsoft are going to be paying out shareholders at $95 per share, and they believe that they could be making more money than that per share in the long run. I think it's worth more than that. And that the only reason why the share fell was because of the stuff that came out around the harassment issues at Activision Blizzard. And that's obvious. You look at the stock after that information did come out. They even pointed out in this document where there was a big decrease in the share prices. They say, we note the first of these drops, roughly 11%, followed immediately upon the announcement by the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing, DFEH, that it was filing suit against Activision and the disclosure of multiple disturbing reports of systemic sexual harassment at the company stretching over several years. And the second drop, 12.2%, as the proxy statement acknowledges, followed the third quarter earnings call November 2nd, where Activision executives attributed disappointing sales performance to project delays at the Blizzard segment of the company, to which the California DFEH attributed many of the allegations reported in its complaint, and which saw considerable turnover as the sexual harassment crisis at Activision has unfolded. And then the final drop, 12.8%, started on November 16th, the day the Wall Street Journal published a report that documented CEO Robert Kotick's alleged knowledge of pervasive harassment at the company, efforts to forestall disciplinary consequences for executives alleged to have harassed employees, and threats directed towards subordinates. The article further alleged that Mr. Kotick failed to keep the board informed concerning the number and severity of harassment allegations, which the board has denied. And then they continue to go on. They mention things about the discounted cash flow analysis that identifies a range of per share valuations from 84 to 123, and the midpoint is 104, which they say is well above Microsoft's offer of $95 per share. And they go over a bunch of other numbers and stuff, and just pretty much their conclusion is here that $95 per share is not high enough, and that if this deal does not go through as a shareholder, you're going to end up making up more money in the long run, so that's why you should vote against it. And then they also talk about the second part of why they don't want their investors to vote for this to go through. It has to do with the antitrust landscape. They talk about President Biden has identified industrial concentration, anti-competitive practices, and monopolization as key challenges facing the U.S. economy, and has issued an executive order instructing all agencies to identify ways in which they can address and reduce market power. Then they say here, additionally, there has been a broad bipartisan support for the investigations into and legislation concerning the concentration of important business lines in a small number of technology companies, including Microsoft. And finishing this part off, pretty much just saying that they don't believe that there will be a company, including Microsoft, that is going to be able to come up with a deal that will be able to get passed, or create a structure that's going to be able to make the antitrust authorities allow this deal to pass. So, I mean, this second point here about the monopolization of the industry, we've seen so much things talked about. We've seen people explain how this isn't a monopolization. We've seen charts breaking down the industry and how many companies are there and the percentage of how much they own. And Xbox, Microsoft are not even close to being a monopoly when it comes to the video game market. In terms of the first point with the $95 per share, I guess you could argue potentially at some time down the road, if Activision somehow is able to turn itself around, maybe the stock price would get back up to where it was. Maybe you could get back up to $100 or something like that. But right now, there's absolutely no sign that that is even close to happening, and it won't happen for a very long time. And we look at just their IPs. We look at Call of Duty. We look at Call of Duty Vanguard. It did not perform as well as they expected, although it's still sold very well. You look at World of Warcraft and how that has fallen off compared to Final Fantasy XIV. Now, yes, I know there's an expansion being announced this month, and this may all turn it around. But there are so many things right now with Activision Blizzard and the current leadership and the current state of the organization that are very, very bad, that will continue that downward spiral. And I don't think that with the people that are in there right now, they will be able to turn it around. So the purchase of Activision Blizzard by Microsoft is good for the industry, in my opinion. It's very good for the employees. And the $95 price per share, I think, is a very fair price for what they were buying when they made that deal. All right, jumping over here to Square Enix and some more talk from them about blockchain and play to earn and NFTs and all that type of stuff, which we are seeing that transition in the gaming industry, which I think a lot of people aren't happy about. Myself included, I really have no interest in NFTs. I really have no interest for play to earn. But it looks like Square Enix has a lot of interest in this, as the president, Matsuda, has reiterated the desire to make play-to-earn blockchain games. This was an interview with Yahoo Japan, and he says here he believes on focusing not only on traditional games, saying that that would not be enough, and describes his vision for titles in which users would create content and be rewarded for their work. Saying specifically, in the future, we would like to try our hand at providing autonomous game content. Until now, in most games, we provided the content as a finished product and the players played that content. However, there are certain number of players in the world who want to contribute to making games more interesting by creating new settings and ways of playing. And that's true in every game. I mean, every game that has a building feature, there are tons of people that jump in there and they create some really awesome stuff. You think about Halo's Forge, think about just games like Minecraft. I mean, the stuff people create, it's out of this world. Some of the things that they come up with, I don't even know how they do it, but it's definitely true that people want to contribute to games more so than just playing them. Yeah, it's in the future, we want to utilize the power of these people to create games that will continue to evolve. If instead of relying on goodwill, we can also provide incentives to those who contribute to development. By utilizing technology such as blockchain, there's a possibility that innovative and interesting content can be created from the ideas of users. So there you go. He's doubling down on the potential of the play to earn stuff. You're going to be incentivized to create more content for these games, and they're going to pay you in some sort of blockchain cryptocurrency that potentially Square Enix is even going to have their own cryptocurrency. As they say here, Matsuda previously said Square Enix could create its own cryptocurrency. And I'm guessing what they would do with their own cryptocurrency is, hey, you create something within our game, we'll give you this amount of whatever cryptocurrency that they come up with, and then you can go and buy more content from Square Enix. It's a way, I would say, that they are going to try to keep people within their games, only playing their games. Because one, they know how long it takes to create good content. If you're somebody who likes to create things within games, that's going to take very, very long. And then two, they keep you always coming back by paying you to do it, meaning that you're going to continuously be playing the games. You're going to continuously be spending more money on Square Enix titles and on Square Enix content. So it's a very, very interesting take, I would say, on what they're trying to do. A lot of people will not be for this. I have absolutely no interest in this. I'm not going to be playing play to earn games. I'm not going to be going and creating content and being stuck in one game just so I can earn a couple of Square Enix cryptocurrency dollars or whatever you want to call it. But some people will. And I know there will be people who are very against this, but there will be a group of people who just love everything Square Enix does and will want to be involved in that ecosystem. We'll see how this all plays out, if this is something that they actually pursue, something that we get in the near future, or if it's just Matsuda throwing these ideas out there and the backlash will stop it from occurring. And staying on NFTs, we have this here as well from Activision Blizzard, which, as we know, is going to be an Xbox Game Studio soon. And apparently there was a survey sent out seeing if players were interested in crypto and NFTs in games. This person tweets it out, and you can see down here one of the questions. One, they have metaverse gaming experiences as well as play to earn gaming, where you can earn cryptocurrency, NFTs, or real currency. So this had a lot of people wondering, does this mean Blizzard is going to be working on NFTs and putting them into their games? But luckily, we have an update where this Video Games Chronicle article talking about it was actually replied to by Mike Ybarra, who says no one is doing NFTs. I think that's good to hear, because NFTs probably would be very easy to kind of implement into a game like World of Warcraft if they really wanted to do it. But hopefully going forward, they gauge what the gaming community wants, and it's pretty obvious. It's not just a couple of people who are outraged. It's not just a small minority of people who don't want NFTs. It seems overwhelmingly the majority of gamers do not want cryptocurrency, do not want NFTs anywhere near their video games. All right, I quickly want to show you guys this here, and this has to do with Xbox Game Pass. If you are not a member of Xbox Game Pass, but you've played Halo Infinite, Forza Horizon 5, or Age of Empires 4 on PC before February 28th, they are giving you free 3 months of PC Game Pass. Now, you have to be a new member. Obviously, if you've already signed up, you're already on the service, you're not getting these free months. But it is, I think, a very cool thing, just getting people into the service, trying to show them, hey, there's not the only games in there that you're going to be able to play. And what I think this also shows is Xbox, the service itself, they have the ability to do this all the time to try to entice more people to sign up and get into the ecosystem by just giving away stuff for free. We've seen it multiple times with the $1 sign up deals. And it's a smart move because I have a feeling once people get in to the service itself, if they've only been playing games on PC, maybe through Steam or even through the Xbox Store, one of these first-party games, they don't know everything that's within the Xbox Game Pass service. I see it myself in my personal life where I tell people that there are certain games on Game Pass and they're blown away that one, that game is there, and then they go and look into the catalog and all of the value and all of the amount of different titles that are there. They had no idea until they actually had the chance to look. And I think giving people free months to dive in is gonna help a long way by keeping a good percentage of them signed up within the ecosystem for a long period of time. Anyways, guys, that's it for me. Let me know your thoughts on all of this stuff: the Activision Blizzard investigation, the free months of Xbox Game Pass, the NFT and cryptocurrency stuff. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up button. If you're new here, you liked what you saw, consider hitting that subscribe button to help this channel grow and help grow this community. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for your support, and I'll catch you in the next video.